So yesterday we have discussed meaning of promoter, promotion, functions of promoter, legal position of the promoter. That all we have discussed. Now the next topic is what are the steps in promotion? What are the steps in promotion? So the first step in promotion is identification of business opportunity. So yesterday we also discussed this point that first thing is that before starting any business, you should have an idea about what type of business I should do, which type of business or what business I will be doing. You have to identify some opportunity that can be converted into profits. So the idea may be with respect to setting up of new business. Either you will be finding some new venture, like you can take example of Reliance. They find that many companies are there which are charging very high rate for data consumption. So they identified that opportunity and then they started Zio. And good plans they introduce, they have made internet economic for each and everyone. So setting up of new business, either you will be identifying some new business opportunity, or maybe that you will be expanding your existing business. Like you can take the example of banks. What they do generally, see, today everyone needs banking services. So they identify the areas where banking services are not properly available, or that much available, or that quality of banking services is not available. They will find out. Okay. So if you will identify such areas, you will expand your business. You will be opening some new branches. You will be hiring some new employees. Your office space will be there. So you will be creating some more assets. So that way your business will grow. And sometimes this expansion goes beyond the geographical limits of the country. Means you are entering into the new country and you are identifying that business opportunity is there. So you may identify any sort of business opportunity. Either you will be expanding your business or you will be establishing a new business. Then feasibility study. So before you enter into the market, you will first check its feasibility. Like whether how many customers are there so that I should open a branch there. Whether I will be getting that much business, whether it will be profitable or in loss also. Suppose you open a branch and you didn't get any deposits there, then your cost will be there, but you will not be generating that much revenue. That will be creating problem for you. So what you will now, suppose you are establishing a manufacturing unit, so you have to check the raw material availability there. Suppose you are establishing a sugar industry, and now suppose you are setting that up in Chennai. There is no production of sugar cane, suppose. So that your raw material transportation cost will be high. It is not feasible then. It will take much time for transportation also. So how will you be getting that raw material there, even if you set up the factory there? So you have to check the raw material availability. You have to check that technology is available for that project which I am going to start or not. And other inputs like many chemicals are required, whether these type of chemicals are required, which I am requiring, are available or not. So I have to analyze a lot of things technically. Whatever chemicals I need for my processes, whatever technology I need, whatever machines I need, whether I have to import that machine or it is available in the country. I have to compare the prices of different brands. I have to compare the raw material cost, quality of raw materials. Lot of things has to be checked before you establish your business at any location. Then financial feasibility you have to check. So financial feasibility is what? That you have to estimate your capital requirements. Suppose I am going to start a business which requires 1,000 crores investment, and hardly I can arrange 10 crores. So then what is the benefit of analyzing it further when I cannot arrange that much funds? So I have to first analyze that how much capital I would be requiring for starting the business, whether I will be able to collect that much capital or not, or I will be able to borrow that much funds or not, availability of required funds. Then what are the sources of finance? Like you can collect the capital through shares also, you can collect the capital through debentures also, you can collect the capital through various instruments, through bank loans, through mortgage loans. And even if I collect the capital, what is the profitability of that project? What profitability I expect? In how much time I will be able to generate the profits? How much time it will take? So you have to check a lot of things, capital investment as well as the profitability, because anyone will give you capital only when he or she will find your project profitable. So you have to convince them that there is a profitability. So you should be knowing the profitability of your project. Now the third feasibility is economic feasibility. Suppose I am going to manufacture a mobile phone. I know that demand is there and supply is also there, competition is also there. So my mobile phone should be having some different features which other competitors are not offering. Its pricing structure should also be different. So whether now suppose if I am entering into the market with different price like Jio has done, whether it is economically feasible. As I remember, they have given free data for 3-4 months, and then afterwards even they have launched the plans that were quite at low prices. So whether it is economically feasible for the company to have a pricing plan like that to enter into the market, to grab the market. Now see, they have increased the cost, lot of cost they have increased for covering their losses. So second economic feasibility is cost. What will be the cost of manufacturing? What will be the cost of raw material? What will be the cost of labor? What will be the cost of setting up the factory? So will it be economically viable project? Whatever I am thinking. And profitability again is the main issue of starting the business. If you are finding it profitable, but when you analyze it and you find that no much difference it is creating in the income of the investor, then you will not be able to collect the capital. So you have to check technical, financial and economic feasibility of the idea which is coming into your mind. So I hope identification of business opportunity is clear and feasibility study is clear. Now the third stage is name approval. Now suppose what happens, you have identified a business opportunity, you have checked its technical, financial and economic feasibility and you find it okay, that yes, this project is feasible, I can go ahead in this project, I can start this business, there is no harm in this business. Whatever the risks are there, you have analyzed that risk in the starting, you are prepared for the risk, to undertake the risk. Now you have to set up some form of business organization. So now because we are studying only formation of company, that's why we are concerned about that process. So third stage, you have to decide upon the name of your company, what your company name will be. So the name has to be approved from registrar of the companies. You have to take approval, whatever the name you are thinking for your company, you have to take approval for that from the registrar. The name should not be identical with name of any existing company. It should not be identical with name of any existing company. Like I cannot adopt the name Reliance Industries Limited because already this name is existing. It will create a confusion in the mind of investors, consumers, employees, each and everyone. The name should not be misleading. It should not be misleading also. It should not reflect that I am associated somehow with Reliance. Like uh, if I take the name Reliance Capital Ventures Limited, so that shows, that might mislead some investor or some consumer that it is a part of Reliance Group. Or I can use the name of Tata. 3 names are submitted in order of preference. You have to select the 3 names: first priority, second priority, and third priority. So what you will do, you will submit 3 names. The registrar of companies will analyze your name. He will check his registers and records. And out of these 3, whichever name he feels that it is the best one for you, it is not creating any problem, that name will be adopted by him for your company. The name should end with the word limited in case of public company. If you are a public company, the name should end with the word limited. And if it is a private limited company, then the name should end with the word private limited. So this is all about the name approval. Third stage is completed. Now fourth, signatories to the memorandum of association. Now your name of the company is finalized. Now you have to prepare a very important document called memorandum of association. So before preparing that document, you have to find out the signatories. You have to find out who will sign that memorandum of association, because ultimately that document will be filed with the registrar of companies, and you have to get at least 7 or minimum number of persons to sign it. So for a public company, 7 persons, and for a private company, 2 persons are required to sign the memorandum of association. So if you are making a public company, then at least you have to arrange 7 persons to sign it. And if you are a private limited company, then at least 2 persons will be required to sign the memorandum of association. They are also required to purchase qualification shares in the company. You have to purchase some shares in the company. They are also known as first directors of the company. So whoever will be signing the memorandum of association in the beginning, he will be called the first director of the company. He will be called first director of the company. And they are bound to purchase some shares in the company. Why this foundation is there? Because if they will be purchasing some shares in the company, they will be having ownership in that company. And then they will start think over it personally. Then they will start thinking about the company personally, because they want profits. They also want to maximize their wealth. Appointment of professionals. Now, for doing business, you need a lot of professionals. You need banking services. So that's why in which bank your bank account will be there, you have to decide it. Who will be the auditor of your accounts? Yesterday we have discussed in profit and loss account what is audit. Audit is the checking of accounts. Taxation authorities always accept audited accounts, duly audited by a chartered accountant. So you need to select your auditors who will be checking your accounts. And other clerical staff you have to appoint, or many members you have to appoint for your working, smooth working. So that's why you have to appoint a lot of professionals. Then after appointing the professionals, you have to prepare some necessary documents. Now each and everything is finalized. Who will be the director in the company? Who will be the auditor of the company? Who will be the banker of the company? So each and everything is finalized. So now you have to prepare certain documents, because you have to form your company. Till now you have only decided about the name of the company, but you have not formed your company. So you have to file certain documents with the registrar for the formation of company. So that legal documents are called memorandum of association, articles of association, that you have to prepare for the formation of the company. So this is all about the steps in promotion. So this is clear. The steps in promotion is clear. Now the next stage. First stage was promotion that we have completed. So on the promotion stage, what is the summary? That you have finalized the persons who will be signing your memorandum of association. First thing, they are the first directors of the company. You have appointed the staff. You have got the name of the company. You have identified a business opportunity and you have analyzed it properly. You have identified the list. You have analyzed each and every aspect before starting. So now, when each and everything is finalized, you will move to the incorporation stage. Your documents are prepared. So incorporation means registration of the company under Companies Act 2013. So you have to get your company's name registered under the Companies Act, and it is the second stage. So when you get it registered, when you get your company registered under the Companies Act, that process is called incorporation. What is the procedure for incorporation? You have to file the documents. We have studied it few minutes back, that you have to prepare memorandum of association, you have to prepare article of association, you have to file the written consent of the proposed directors that yes, we are ready to sign the memorandum of association, we are ready to become the first directors of this company. Then you have to file the name approval letter which you got from the registrar. That also need to be filed with the registrar, so that he should be able to verify that yes, this is a genuine name which I had already approved. Then where your registered office will be, the address of that registered office should also be notified. So these all documents you have to file with the registrar. Then you have to pay certain amount of fees also along with these documents to the registrar. And when the registrar will check each and everything, will verify each and everything, he will study your memorandum of association, your article of association thoroughly. If any objection is there, you will be notified for that. If no objection is there, all legal formalities will be completed, and then you will be getting a certificate of incorporation. And this certificate of incorporation is the actually birth certificate of the company. The date on which it is issued to you, that date is termed as birthday date of the company. So this is about the procedure of incorporation. Now the next is effect of certificate of incorporation. When you will get the certificate of incorporation, what effect will be there? So it is a birth certificate of the company. Now the company is in existence and company has a separate legal entity. Company can enter into contracts with anyone on its own name. Company gets the status of separate legal entity with perpetual succession. Now it will be only closed with the help of legal process. Otherwise it cannot be closed. Company become entitled to enter into valid contracts. So company can enter into contracts now. So this is all about incorporation. If you want to ask something, you can ask. So till now we have completed the process of promotion. Stages in promotion, meaning of promotion, meaning of promoter. Question is, when is the company provided with common seal? See, as and when you get registered, the directors need to sign the contracts on the behalf of the company. So at that point of time, when you get your name approved, at that time you have to get a common seal manufactured from the market or from the reliable source. You can get a common seal. So it is not issued by a legal authority. It is to be like, it is a business stamp which you got in the market. So you have to arrange it. The name should be engraved on that stamp. That will be called a common seal. Okay, that's all for you for today.